Hi, this is Silas with DC Digital showing how to do a DB2 board swap. So what we have here is a kind of analog for a larger display here. What we got underneath below the camera frame is a smaller, large size display. And behind it is the enclosure for that display. Now, while I can't show you exactly how to take it apart, it is very simple. First, you take out all of the screws around the edge, and then you will pull this cover off, and there will be 4 of these connectors attached to this board. Squeeze these little knobs and pull them out, and then undo the wire tie connected to the colons, and then you will be able to take the face off and move it somewhere else. And I would suggest that you move it out of the way so that you can work on the board without having to worry about this falling over. What we got here is we've got an analog for your bigger display. Since we can't show it all here, each of these are similar enough to the larger displays and how they function that I can use them to show you how they work. All right, here we have your top left decimal point. Right here we have your colons in the middle. And what we're going to show you today is how you can take this out and swap it with another one of these in case that something goes wrong, maybe we make a mistake and we have to send you another board. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take the board out. Make sure you take out this grounding screw at the top. Then undo the other 5 screws. Then the board will just fall out. You'll want to undo your power cords. If they are wired or soldered directly in, you'll need to cut them and strip them with a pair of wire strippers. However, what you can do, and I would recommend this since it would be easier, I think, is on your power supply, which you're likely to have here, you've got a positive and a negative, denoted by this red and this black. That's the same gauge as your power. So what you can do is undo these little prongs here. And that way you can get them disconnected. Now take the new board and do the reverse. It's easier if you get like 1 or 2 of them in there first. Make sure your drill isn't up too high to damage the board. Don't forget, when you're reconnecting this board, make sure you use this grounding strap. Put the wire on there, or put the wire through the screw, and then screw it down. This is what's protecting your unit from lightning strikes, so make sure you don't forget it. So now we can take these 2 power cords here, your red, your black, connect to the bottom right of the board. Take off your power snips here. And what you can do here is you take your black. If you see a V minus here, it'll be the top one. Secure that back down. Now make sure that the color of the wires match the colors of the wires you disconnected, or else you could have some real bad things happen. So now that you got your power cord connected, next thing to do would probably be the most complicated. Now the colons are a weird thing. So what we've got is we've got 2 sets of colons, a decimal and a colon. A decimal is 1 dot, colon's 2 dots. And we've got 3 wires here. Colon and dot hot, decimal ground, colon ground. How we're going to do this is we're going to take these power strips off. You're going to take a wire nut. Get a decent sized one. Now mind you, your wires are most likely going to be a lot longer than the ones we got here, so it'll be a little easier than what I'm doing. And what you're going to do is you're going to wire nut all three of these reds together, or Wago, or however you feel like, or solder, or however you like to connect them, but wire nuts are the most accessible. Wire nut them together. Make sure they're connected good. Alright, so now you got that. So now what we got here, we got the dot and the colon. So what we're going to do, another wire nut. This one's the dot, so we're going to connect this dot's black to the decimal black. Just going to do that like so. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with the colon. Connect the colon's black wire to the label wire colon black. Remember, always make sure that your wires are on there good so they don't fall off. Now, to connect your digits, what you're going to do is first you'll observe you've got these 4 slots. Digits 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the order they're going to go in. So you're going to take one of these connectors, and you're going to line it up and click it in. Then you're going to take one of these, which the smaller ones look like these, so that's not quite what you're looking for. What you're actually going to connect to it is not a loose wire, but instead the wire is soldered to the back of the display here. So you're going to have 4 of these, and you're going to connect them like that. You know, you can connect these just the same. If I wanted, I could just take this over here, slot it in, but we're not going to do that so that I can show you these on the smaller ones and show you it working. So we're going to take one of these, plug these in. All right, we're going to do these for all 4 of them. Alright, so now we've got these kind of hooked up. Let's get these in a configuration where you could probably see it, where you could see them quite the right way. So here we go. Dot on the left, colon in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the last thing we need to connect is your temperature and GPS input. So, last set of part strip wires that we got to take off. And here, we got the GPS MI2 with the temperature probe at the bottom. Now you won't have this wire here because you don't have if you don't have a GPS probe, but it will still be these 2 boards. And what you've got here is on the end of one of these 2 boards is your data out, and it's got 3 little wires. It's got a black, white, a red, 22 gauge, and these are pretty easy. You just match them to the color-coded wires here. Get some wire nuts. It's wire nuts, red to red. Red to red, black to black, white to white. And now we've got it all connected up. So now we've got all of the wires connected, we can turn it on. And there we go, we got a temperature reading. Got our decimal on the top left here working, and our decimal in the middle. Now they don't fire very often. The top left is mostly an error light, so it shouldn't light unless there's something wrong. But you can see here that you've got your temperature as it should be. Lights are on here, are all working. Now a few troubleshooting tips I'll give you before we go is the number one thing is you can do before you start working on these is to open up the case and take a picture of the inside. If you take a picture of the inside and take good pictures, it'll be a lot easier to figure out where you went wrong, if you've made any mistakes, or if there's anything different than the configuration we've shown you. So make sure you take a picture and copy the wiring diagram as you saw it in the original. And that'll be the best way to ensure that this works properly. So that was how you swap out your DB2 board and one of your larger size displays. My name is Silas with DC Digital, and thank you for watching.